Now, we were supposed to start with the yield of the reaction, the percentage yield. Till now, we were able to calculate the masses of the product or the reactant through the ratios stuff. Now, we move on to the next concept, that's the yield of the reaction. Yield means that how much product basically you are getting. One value which you we have been doing right now, we have been calculating things theoretically on a paper using calculator and stuff. So whatever we are doing the calculations, we are actually doing the theoretical calculation of the product. Am I right? Theoretical calculations using the paper pen. So there is no loss of the product there. But when actually in the industry or in the lab, when we are preparing something, there is always an issue related to the amount of product we obtain. So the amount of product is definitely less than the theoretical calculations we have, maybe because of the reversible reaction, or maybe there's some side reactions, or maybe the reactants which we are taking in the reaction, they are impure, right? For example, if I want to prepare calcium oxide using calcium you taking calcium carbonate, so my amount of calcium oxide which I am using, which I am calculating on a piece of a paper, is different from when I actually prepare. Let's suppose if I say that from 50 kg of calcium carbonate, I'm getting 23 kg of calcium oxide. This is my theoretical value. But experimentally, when I perform experiment, when I take in the industry, I take 50 kg of calcium carbonate, I just get 20 kg out of it. I get 3 kg less. Okay, so having 3 kg less is actually a lesser amount which I'm getting as an actual production. So that is not giving me the 100% yield. So the production is giving me less, but the theoretical value is giving me 23 kg. So how to get to know about how much percent yield I have? So in order to calculate the percentage yield, what I do is I have a formula, that is the actual yield, okay, which I'm getting through an experiment while doing industrially how much I'm preparing, or practically how much I'm preparing. So that's an experiment value, okay, divided by the theoretical value which I have calculated on a piece of paper. When I divide both of them and times 100, because I'm taking out the percentage, I'll get the percentage yield. Like the example which I gave you, I'm preparing calcium oxide from calcium carbonate, and I'm getting carbon dioxide. If I take 50 kg of calcium carbonate, I'm getting on the paper, I'm calculating 23 kg. This is my theoretical value, but experimentally, I'm getting 20 kg. So, what is my percentage yield? So, percentage yield will be my experimental value, okay, divided by my theoretical value. Or I can say my actual value divided by my theoretical value. My actual value is actually uh, experimental value is 20 kg divided by 23, which is my theoretical value, times 100. Come on, simplify. So that is going to give me, that is my percentage yield. Though on paper I'm getting 100%, but when I does the experiment, I'm not getting 100%. There can be multiple reasons for that. Maybe while experimentation I've lost some of the product, or I have the impurities in calcium carbonate, or calcium oxide has gone into a side reaction with some other particles present there. Okay, so that there can be multiple reasons for that. So the experiments which give us the 100%, they are the perfect, but somehow we are not getting 100% percentage yield. So the industrialists, they actually calculate that this reaction is going to give us how much yield. So this is how they calculate. So actual yield, that is which they are doing during the experiment, divided by the theoretical, that when this reaction is going to take place, theoretically, how much are we supposed to get it? So actual practical experimental value divided by the theoretical value times 100 will be your percentage yield. So this is a very important factor to understand whether this process or this reaction is effective for us. Is it giving us good percentage yield or not? Is it clear? And that also explain us whether the reactant which we are taking, they are pure or impure, or we have to look for into our practical what do you call it, process. Are we losing our product somewhere, so they have to look for any particular error which is taking place. I hope this is clear. So now let's move on to the experiments or the questions related to percentage yield. Now, in the first two worked examples, we are just trying to calculate the theoretical value. The theoretical value we have done in the last class on Wednesday. So let's do a little review or recap how to calculate the theoretical value. That means how to calculate the stuff on the paper. So the question says that copper 2 carbonate, its formula is CuCO3. It is decomposed on heating. When you heat it, it decomposes to give you copper oxide and carbon dioxide. It's the same equation like I have given the example previously. Calcium carbonate giving you calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. The equation for the reaction is here. Now, what is the theoretical yield? That means on a paper and pen using calculator, what are you getting this, how much product are you forming as a copper oxide? They're saying what is the theoretical yield of copper 2 oxide obtained from 5.78 grams of copper 2 carbonate. They're saying that if we have 5.78 grams of this, then how many grams of copper oxide we are going to have here? So simple, what are we going to do is we will take out the number of moles for copper oxide and okay. So first of all, how we'll find out the number of moles, we will be dividing mass by MR. So first step is we need to calculate the MR for calcium copper carbonate. So MR they have already given us, that's 123. So we'll pick up this value. So the mass which is given to us in the question, that's 5.78. We'll divide by the MR, that's 123.5. We'll have the number of moles, that's 0.0468. So these many moles we will be getting if we take this mass. Now because the ratio, now after this step we will be moving on to the ratio. Now the equation is saying that the ratio of copper oxide and copper carbonate is 1:1. So basically 0.468 moles of copper carbonate is producing 0.468 moles of copper oxide as well. So the moles of copper oxide are same, that is 0.468. Now we have to convert these moles into the mass. So for that, what we will do, these moles we will multiply by the molar mass and we'll have the mass. So mass equals to 0.468 times the molar mass, which is basically 79.5. We get the answer 3.72 grams. So this is basically our theoretical value on paper and pen using the calculator. I hope this is clear. Coming to the second example, this is again a recap of the same concept. We need to calculate the theoretical value again. Now they're saying that magnesium phosphate can be prepared from magnesium by reacting it with phosphoric acid. The equation is here. What is the theoretical yield of magnesium phosphate, this compound being formed, if you what is the theoretical yield of magnesium phosphate obtained from 5.62 grams of magnesium? So always the theoretical value or the experimental value or the actual value is always of the product. Reactants, mass or moles or anything is always given to you, and they ask us to find for the product. So this first step is that we are going to convert the mass, which is 5.62 grams of magnesium, into moles. For that, what we'll do is we'll divide it by the molar mass, that's 24.3. So the number of moles of magnesium is 0.231. Now from the equation, we know that the 3 moles of magnesium, the ratio is 3:1. So 3 moles of magnesium are giving you 1 mole. Okay, so if 3 moles of magnesium are given, if it's the ratio is 3:1, and we're getting 0.231 moles of magnesium, so for magnesium phosphate, what we'll do, whatever the moles they have given us, we will divide that by 3. So 0.31 moles of magnesium, they are need, because the ratio is 3:1, so we'll divide that by 3 in order to get the 1 ratio for magnesium phosphate. So the number of moles are coming 0.0770. Now, when we have the moles of magnesium phosphate, these are the moles of magnesium phosphate, we'll multiply them by the molar mass in order to obtain the mass of the theoretical value for magnesium phosphate. So this is what they're doing. This is the molar mass for magnesium phosphate already calculated. When multiplied by the number of moles, they're getting the mass, that's 20.2 grams. Is it clear? So in these two worked examples, they have only done the first part of the percentage yield. We are just calculating the theoretical value. Okay, the theoretical value is never given in the question. It's never given in the question. We have to calculate the theoretical value. Okay, with the given data of the reactant, get data of the reactant, we need to calculate the theoretical value. Okay, so that is the first step we need to do. We need to calculate the theoretical value. Now once we calculate the theoretical value, the actual value is always a part of the actual value, or what we call it experimental value, or what we are obtaining in the industry, which we call actual value, is always given in the question. Okay, now let's see here. It says that the theoretical value in the reaction is 26.7. That's given here. This is a worked example. They're just trying letting you use this formula. So, and the actual value is 18.7. So this is how we have the formula, where we have the actual value divided by theoretical value times 100. So 18.5 is an actual value, theoretical value is already given you here, multiply by 100, we will get the percentage yield 69.3. So they are saying that this is the product which you're obtaining is not 100%. Whatever the reasons are there, maybe there are gaps in the reaction, the process, maybe the purity of the reactant is a problem, but somehow we are not getting 100% production of the product. Okay, so this is a high alarm for the industrialists, that they have to look into it so that they get the maximum a maximum product out of it. So this is an indication to look into the production, look into the nitty-gritty of the reaction, that how we can get the maximum yield. Now coming to the actual questions which are given in your paper. Okay, till now the above three questions, they have given us the questions in parts, but now here the whole question is given to you. Let's see how what has been given to us. Now the scenario is a manufacturer uses this reaction to obtain methanol. So methanol is actually your product whose percentage yield we need to calculate. It's always the product whose percentage yield we need to calculate. So they're saying that the manufacturer uses this reaction to obtain methanol from carbon monoxide and hydrogen. So these two are reactants. Now the manufacturer obtains 4.07 tons of methanol. So they are giving you 4.07 tons of methanol is being prepared, starting from 4.32 tons of carbon monoxide. So basically, they're saying that starting material with whatever they're starting is 4.32 tons of carbon monoxide, and they're getting 4.07 tons. And actually, this is actually my actual value which they're producing through an experiment or through the industrial process. So as I told you that the actual value is given to you in the question. So this is an actual value. They're saying that this much production is starting from this. So if 4.32, how much is it? 4.32 tons of carbon monoxide is giving us 4.07 tons of methanol. Okay, then how much 4.32 tons of carbon monoxide will give us theoretical value? Okay, we need to calculate the theoretical value. So ignoring this first part of the question, let's start from here. Okay, so what we will do is 4.32 tons, you will divide, you will convert this tons, this value, this mass into the moles. Okay, so 4.32, what they did, because we know that 1 ton is equals to 10 to the power 6 grams. So here they did 4.32 into 10 to the power 6 divided by the molar mass in order to get the number of moles of carbon monoxide. So these many moles of carbon monoxide you're getting. So you have 1.54 into 10 to the power 5 moles. Now let's look at the molar ratio. We have the 1:1 molar ratio because 1 mole of carbon monoxide producing 1 mole of CH3OH. So that means the same number of moles are there of CH3OH. The same number of moles are there of this as well. Now what we'll do in order to find out the mass, we will multiply this by the MR. Okay. Now the MR for methanol is given to us in the question is 32. So this, when they multiply by 32, they are getting the mass, they're getting the mass as, they're getting the mass as 4.94 into 10 to the power 6. So this is 4.94 into 10 to the power 6, and that many, this is the mass. This is not the moles, this is the mass. Okay, this is the mass. So the mass, the actual mass, which was basically given to us, this was an actual mass. It's coming from the question divided by the theoretical mass, which we have calculated from this initial mass, of carbon monoxide times 100. We get the percentage yield of 82.4%. I hope this is clear. So the actual mass is given to you. The theoretical mass you calculated when the reactants value are given to you. So the reactant mass are given to you. So what you did, let me give you the shortcut here. These are the steps we have done. So the mass which has been given to you, converted that into moles. Then you, second step, you find out the number of molar ratio there. So the reactant which is given to you, the mass, you converted that into moles. Okay, by dividing its mass by the molar mass. And in the next step, you looked at the ratio 1:1. So the same number of moles you have of the product as well. So the number of moles you multiply by MR, you got the mass of the product. So this mass of the product is actually a theoretical value. Now here they are putting it in the formula. So it's actual value divided by theoretical value into 100. You got the percentage yield. I hope it's clear. Here we have two questions related to the percentage yield. Okay, so we have the question number 2 and question number 1. I want you people to take a snapshot of this very quickly.